Toy Tuesday, and today I'm talking about a toy that a lot of people don't remember, but I do, and I really liked her. And so this is Maxie, and Maxie was brought out in 1985 in 1988. The cartoon came out in 1987 to rival what was going on with the toy industry at the time. So what was happening back then was Hasbro had come out with a doll called Gem. And Gem was also a cartoon. And Gem was the premise of Gem was that there was a girl named Jerica who was given a computer by her father who had passed away. And it turned her into a rock star. And so she had this band, but she was also Jerica. So she was two different people. And she just hit her earring, and she had this big computer. But that was Gem, and they also had a set of dolls. So there was a cartoon, and everybody really loved Gem. And Gem, Gem was a little bigger than Barbie. So Gem had a bigger head. She was very poseable. She was bigger than Barbie, so you couldn't switch her clothes. You couldn't put Barbie's clothes on her. Her feet were really big. I didn't like the dolls. I watched the cartoon, but I wasn't a big fan of the dolls. So what happened was Gem was really popular, and so Mattel got really upset, and they rivaled Hasbro with Barbie and the Rockers. So Barbie and the Rockers, which I have Derek here, and I'm going to show him in a second, because Barbie and the Rockers came out, and they were just a rock group. They didn't have, I think they did have a cartoon, but I can't remember. I think there may have been like a cartoon on video. But they came out and they knocked Gem off the charts. So what Hasbro did was they came out with Maxie. And what was happening at the time was in the 70s and 80s, Barbie had become more of an adult. She took on more adult roles. She was an astronaut, she was a working woman, she was a superstar, and she kind of gave up her teenage roles. So what happened was they took that and they put it upon Skipper. So these are some of the teen Skippers that came out in 1987. This is Workout Skipper, Teen Fun Workout Skipper. This is Teen Fun Cheerleader Skipper. And then there was just Teen Fun Skipper. And she was kind of a party girl. So that was happening. And so to rival that, Hasbro again came out with another line called Maxie. And Maxie was a typical teenager. And there was also a cartoon just like Gem. And so Maxie was from a town called Surfside. I believe it was California, Surfside town, USA. And she was a cheerleader, and she was a surfer, and apparently she was a ballerina, and she had sleepovers. And these are some of the sleepover accessories that came with her, some of her play sets. But she had a daybed, and she had all kinds of stuff that teenagers or, stereotypical teenagers do. So she had sleepovers, and she went to cheerleading practice. In the cartoon, she also solved mysteries, but that wasn't really, prevalent in the dolls. But yeah, so she was just a typical teenager, just like the original Barbie. So the original Barbie came out in 1959, and the original Barbie was just a teen fashion model. That's all she did. But as Barbie grew and the line grew, they gave her more adult roles. So this was to rival both Teen Fun Skipper and Hasbro and Mattel. So this was from Hasbro. I love these dolls. These were great because they weren't flashy. They were just typical teenagers, and their feet were very small too, and they stood on their feet. They weren't on their tiptoes. And some of them also came with Reeboks. I know at one point she came with Reeboks, which was really cool. But these rivaled them. And then, so what happened? These came out in 1988. They ended in 1990. They only lasted about 3 years. And I think it was because Mattel came out with Jazzy. And Jazzy was Barbie's cousin. So that kind of knocked her off. So I also found it interesting that Rob had kind of this kind of the same hairstyles as Ken did in Barbie and the Rockers. Very big and fuzzy, permed hair. So, and then all of a sudden in 1989, when the second series came out, they changed Rob from this to this. So, I don't have a Rob here, but Rob looked exactly like Barbie and the Rockers Derek, who I have here, who I love. He was beautiful. But he had the same hairstyle, he had the mullet, and he had the little curl in the front, and he was very similar to that. So I found that really interesting. They changed him, because this was a really popular doll. So that's Maxie, and so here are some of her accessories. They also use a lot of great colors, like this this kind of aqua green that was really popular in the late 80s, and the pinks. This is Cheerleader Maxie and Sleepover Maxie. She also came with a charm that was really interesting, so you could actually have a charm bracelet, and it was like, this was, I think, a megaphone is in here. Her cheerleader stuff's in here. There's the charm. So you could come, it came with a charm. It was very girly. It was very girly. It also came with a comb, so you could brush her hair. She came with a charm as well, but this is Sleepover, so she came with fuzzy slippers, and these were her brushes. But these are really cool. I really like them, and I wish Hasbro would bring them back, because they were a really great toy, especially for little girls who were, they just wanted to be teenagers. So that's it. This also came, it also came with this. So here's the charm. And so this was special day charms for special days, and it came with this, and these are all the charms that you could buy that came with each doll. So a phone, and a football, and a high heel, a teddy bear, a sneaker. So these are all the charms, and you could actually send away for the charm bracelet if you mailed that in. And there are some pictures of other Maxie play sets and dolls in here. It was a really cool set, a really cool line, and I wish that Hasbro would bring it back, because I really liked it. I think girls today would like it too. All right, well, thanks. Happy Toy Tuesday. Be sure to subscribe to my blog and follow me on Twitter at Tuesday Toy.